We're going to put a few of these away because I don't want them to dry out while I'm making one piece at a time. So I just got some plastic here. Ball them up. Okay, so I'm going to experiment a little bit with forms and shapes and see what I can come up with. You might spend a little bit of time doing the same thing. But you also have already done your sketches and have kind of an idea for different forms. But this will serve as a learning curve for you guys. All right, once again, crumpled up ball, piece of aluminum, this one I'm going to try to make into a cube kind of a form. Flat bottom, mash the sides, and gradually that aluminum foil will stiffen up and retain its shape a little bit better. This is looking more like a rectangle right now, but that's all right. Speaking about the aluminum being stiffer, consider that your aluminum really is like the bones of your piece. It's a skeletal structure, and so this gives you some strength and stability underneath the mushy dough that you're working with, or clay or whatever else that you're fiddling around with. But this does help give you a little bit of strength underneath it. All right, nice flat bottom. I'm pushing pretty hard on this to get that to be strong and flat on that bottom surface. That should do it. Boop. Take a little bit of my prepared dough, and again, you're just hand modeling this stuff. Nothing fancy about this. Making that into kind of a flat slab-like piece, and then wrap it around the aluminum foil. I've got some extra there. Clip that off, and then I'm just mushing it, and I do want something of a corner to be recognizable. So I'm kind of pinching those corners together as I go around, just trying to mash the clay into the areas that it needs it. Nothing fancy about this. And I'll use some of this for the top. I think I'll use a little bit more. Try to keep it even. Stick that on there and continue mashing it. The clay, I almost said dough, but it doesn't really make a difference because they act similarly. This stuff is a little sticky on my hands at this point, and so getting the clay to release from my hands is causing me a little issue. You can see every time my fingers want to pull the clay away when I change position. So I think I might need to make this stuff in its basic shape and then leave it alone for a little while so it has a chance to stiffen up. It almost settles to be flat just on this paper. So I've got kind of a boxy sort of a form. And I think if I can, oh, that's not cool. If I can get this to be a little bit more stable, then I'm going to set it aside. Yeah, okay. Cute little cube. Let's do something different. How about more of amorphic type of a shape, maybe like the body of a seal. You think of kind of as round, more narrow at the nose, kind of comes to a narrow ending near the tail. So I'm going to go with this weird looking little thing. Aluminum foil. Wrap that up. Again, your aluminum foil is like the skeleton structure, and so if you get this aluminum foil to be fairly stiff and rigid, I do think that'll help. Because then when your clay goes around it, this thing is pretty stable. If it's all mushy like a sponge, it makes it even more difficult. Alright, so that weird looking little thing is going to be another attempt at a different form. I've got some extra here. I'm just going to tuck that away, get a new ball. This time I'll try something kind of lengthwise. Sit that on that. And then start, hey look, looks like a taco, but inside out. Mush, manipulate the clay to come around. Shift and reposition it if necessary. And we're going to set that one aside to see if that will keep its shape and if we can do something later with that one too. Alright, let's do another one. That Hershey's Kiss, I had attempted doing something with that earlier and it turned out not so great. So we're going to try another one. Paper, aluminum, fold that up, flatten the bottom, I'll round this off. So now we've got kind of a pyramid or cone shape with the aluminum foil. A little more of this dough. I do want to keep the aluminum open on the bottom of this one. I'd kind of like to have it aluminum exposed on the bottom of this. Kind of the same thing with this guy. Leave the aluminum exposed. I'm not sure why I'm thinking that that's important, but if we do end up baking this, the aluminum could come out. Alright. Just basic modeling. There's nothing fancy about this. And I'll kind of tip it over to the side a little bit. At this point, I am not too concerned about all of these little surface delineations. I'm going to leave that just as it is. When it's a little bit stiffer, then I will try to clean up some of that stuff and give it, maybe I'll put some texture into it or something, but right now this is so soft. I need to leave it alone. Alright, 3 various forms. See what you come up with and maybe it'll help determine what form that you're going to go for your piece.